Hey everybody, Justin Roy here with Profound Realty Group, and my guest this week is Crissy Rollins with Holistic
Restoration.
That's right. So today we're going to talk about, I think, a catchy phrase or whatever that we all hear a lot is the whole work-life balance. Me personally, I hate the term because I don't really think there is a true balance, is there?
Yeah, well, I think that you really hit the nail on the head. One of the things that I specialize in my practice and working with my clients is helping you to shift your perspective and helping to break myths and illusions that kind of get set on us from the way that society portrays it or talks about it. And this all elusive work-life balance is kind of like that all elusive state of enlightenment.
Right.
And this idea that when we finally line up everything perfectly and force ourselves to take the proper actions and finally get out of our own way and do everything right, that everything will just magically work. And what I think the biggest misnomer with that is that we overlook the fact that balance isn't a constant state. Balance actually happens in moments.
I agree. Look, things happen. Life is going to throw you all kinds of curveballs, but there's this idea out there that, I don't know, if you just keep your schedule and this, then all of a sudden everything will be happy and magic, and, your spouse is happy, you're happy, your kids are happy, your parents are happy, and it's just, for me, it just gets over, you hear it so much, it kind of falls on deaf ears or just becomes like the white noise. But I also agree, though, there is something to it where you do need to separate the two and do need to set around time, but is it truly a balance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if we can take this idea of balance from this like constant state, this thing we got to strive for and we have to maintain, kind of like walking on a balance beam. You can't take that misstep and instead realize that balance is just moments. It's those moments in which everything is working, where you do have everything falling into place. Or actually, better said, or the way that I like to see it is the moments that you realize there's nothing really more that I need right now in this moment. And it can happen really in just seconds of time, and you can miss it if you're not looking for it, because it can happen while you are at your child's soccer practice and you had that minute to email that client back and you know that dinner's cooking in the crock pot at home. And in that one moment, you are present. You are focused on your kid on that soccer field. You're not thinking about work. You're not thinking about what you got to do after the game. You're just there. And I got chills just saying it that way. I've got chills. You're just there in the present moment. And I do a lot of work with people on mindfulness and increasing mindfulness. And we just did a presentation a couple weeks back in your networking group.
Very good. Very good.
Wonderful. And mindfulness is just that. Coming back to right now, right here, in this present moment. And when we can bring our attention back to right here, right now, we realize all is indeed well. Of course, we could sit here and talk about all the ways that our life could be better, all the things that are happening outside of this room or, right now in this moment as we're having this conversation that could be more imbalanced or better. But really, right now in this moment, your needs are met. My needs are met. We're doing it right now. But if we take right now to think about how, oh gosh, as soon as this ends, I'm going to have to get back to this list of undone things, or I tried to get all this stuff done before I got out the door, or just even thinking that I can only be happy if I check off all the marks on my to-do list. That way of thinking takes you out of the here and now and is like the very thing that knocks you out of balance before you even get a chance to be in balance and create that schedule and live into it.
I couldn't agree more. So many times when I'm trying to focus on something, all I keep thinking about is what has to be done instead of what's being done right now. I'm trying not to wake up in the morning and look at my phone. I'm trying not to look at my phone until breakfast is done, lunches are packed, and kids are at least on our way to school, because I know if I see a text that came in like last night or an email, my whole morning is, because that's where my mind's going to go. Got to get this done. Got to call this person. Even though it's 6 a.m. and these people are probably still sleeping, for some reason, my mind goes to that. And it's like, got to get done now. And then everybody else falls to the back of the line, which, it shouldn't be that way.
And what's really interesting with that is that the caveat around that is that you are the only one who can make that happen. Mm-hmm. You are the only one who can actually follow through with that idea or that commitment that you made to yourself to focus on family first. And once everybody's out the door, then I'll engage with the other side of my life. And you're the only one who's going to live into that or not do it. And this is where, I have the breakthrough or not with my clients, is that realization that you can't hire me to do it for you, but I can help you to see why you're not doing it and how you could be doing it.
You kind of put them on the right path.
Exactly. But you still have to show up. You still have to actually follow through on it. Absolutely. And so this is where it gets really interesting, and why I get so passionate about the work that I'm doing is because we think, okay, I need work-life balance. I know a great thing that works for my friend who seems to have it all together is that she follows this really great schedule. So I'm going to take her schedule and I'm going to do it. And then you don't.
It looks good. It looks good.
Right? But it's the concept of it. You're like, oh, It's 7:00 and I'm going to start in my office, but let me grab that coffee real quick. And then it's 7:15 and then now all of a sudden it's 8:45 and everything, it just snowballs. I don't know if you've ever had that experience, but that's been my experience before in the past.
Just a few times.
Right. So then we're left there thinking, I must be the problem. It must be me. I'm not as good as Susan. I can't live into Susan's schedule. Mm-hmm. I can't do it the way that Joan does. I just can't keep that positive whatever. Lisa seems to keep it all together. Whatever that thing is that we're comparing ourselves, that we're trying to get ourselves to live into. So it's not that there's anything wrong with you. It's not that you don't know how to follow a schedule. It's not that you can't get yourself up. It's just not happening. So whenever it's not happening and you're left to think that the problem's you, then we have to start to kind of dig a little bit deeper. If we know that logistically Justin is capable of setting an alarm, getting out of bed at a certain time, like he could literally do this, but then he's not doing it, then there must be something lying underneath the surface. There must be something bigger than Justin just needs a schedule. And that's where I come in and help people to do the inner work that a lot of us don't talk about or we shy away from, and help us to understand that we're only ever going to show up and live into what supports our life to the degree that we're an advocate for ourselves, that we're a champion for ourselves, that we know, like, and trust ourselves, and that we are committed to supporting ourselves. And that in itself is a kind of a conflict from how society set us up to do just what you do. You don't even say wake up in the morning, make Justin a priority.
Right.
You're saying I'm going to wake up in the morning, make my family a priority. Then I'm going to get to business. And then if there's some space left over, I might take care of Justin in the mix.
True. I think that's how most people are.
And I'm here to say, what if, because I can't prove any of this stuff, but you can try it out yourself and find out for yourself how it works. What if we flip that model around? And what if Justin will never be able to get up and live into all these requirements for other people until he puts himself at the top of the list? And then moves through the rest of his priorities.
So this whole work balance concept, what is, let's talk realistically, because we all have a million. It's like, I kind of use the concept like gnats. You got all these things in your life, like you said, food, dinner, sports, work, spouse, cleaning, laundry, yard work, all floating around you. Oh. And it's almost like you're swatting at them. I mean, what is a couple of quick tips that people, like I said, I want to get away from balance, but a couple of tips that people can set aside that time, like for the focus aspect of it?
Yeah, good question. So one of the things that I know really simplified my life and really simplifies my client's life as well is you take time to get in touch with what your core values are. What are your core values? Like at the end of the day, what things have to be in place in order for you to agree to move forward in life? And when I sat down, I found out that my core values were very simple, and it was a very short list. I, for some reason, thought there'd be like 10 or 12 or 20, these things have to happen. But I found out that there was, I think, 4, and over time I added a 5th, or there was 3 and I added a 4th. But it's very simple. But one of my the top one out of that list is that my family's top priority. So whatever the situation, whatever the opportunity, it has to honor my family as top priority. Now, just that one core value alone makes me show up differently in ways that I wouldn't do when I wasn't consciously aware that that was my top value. So where Crissy might not want to wake up at 6 a.m., she realizes that if her top value is that her family is top priority, and she knows that the flow of her family will go a lot better if she gives her daughter 30 minutes to get up out of that bed instead of expecting her to jump up out of bed like she can do, right? Then I can say, because I'm committed to my family being top priority in the ease and flow of our communication and how we get along, right? Since my family's top priority, I can override how Crissy prefers things to be to honor what I'm most committed to. And in the end, I actually get what I want, which is the ease, the flow, the peace, the balance, whatever it is that I think sleeping until 6:30 will do for me.
Right.
right?
That extra 30 minutes.
Yeah. So take that time. Just do some self-reflection and identify what are your top values. Another one of mine is that it has to be a good, the opportunity has to really honor the gifts and skills that I bring to the table. So what resources do I have? What gifts do I have to offer? If it's something that's not going to utilize that, or something that undermines it, or doesn't really fully honor it, then it's something that I pass on. So just taking that time to identify what your core values are will simplify your decision-making process. And the other tip that I would give is that, quite frankly, all of this stuff boils down to one thing. Until you decide that you are more committed to your own peace of mind, your own happiness, your own fulfillment, more than anything else, more than donuts, more than sleeping in late, more than making other people happy, more than being liked and accepted by other people, more than being successful in your business, your peace of mind and happiness, until you decide that that's your top priority, just get used to the struggle, because it's going to be there. Because you're not going to show up for yourself in the same way as if you were the one who was advocating for yourself.
And the one thing that even I have a hard time getting over is, the older you get, the more perspective you get, hopefully, is the list never ends. Mm-hmm. There's always laundry. There's always dishes. There's always kids wanting to eat, go to their friends, grass to cut. Something's going to go wrong at your house. The furnace is going to go. Your roof's going to leak. You're going to need new tires on your car.
That's the truth.
Your wife's going to not be happy with you, or husband. Yeah. So that's, the older you get, the more it's never ends.
Yeah.
And once you accept that, I think it helps too. It's like, Jessica, don't kill me, my wife. But, one thing with laundry, I'm like, we have enough clothes where we only have to do laundry on Sunday. We don't need to do it every way. Let that stuff pile up, because it's not going nowhere. They're not going to get up and run away. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's a big part of it too. Once you realize the list will continue as long as you walk around on this earth. So just accept that fact and focus on, like you said, what's important to you, and kind of move forward.
I heard that Einstein died with a horrifically messy desk. And I hear uber successful people say you cannot be a success unless you go to bed with your desk clear every single night. Right? So the thing about these ongoing to-do lists is that here's where a perspective shift comes in handy. To realize that ongoing to-do list is just showing you you're still alive.
That's right.
There's still life to live. And if you didn't notice, you had to go to sleep every day. You had to wake up the next day. You at some point had to brush teeth, comb hair, take baths, eat food. I mean, these things happen over and over again. Breathing over and over again. Blinking over and over again. These things, they're all clues that maybe that's part of the game. So one, that ongoing to-do list is just a sign that you got more life to live. Mm-hmm. You're doing everything right. There's more to do.
Just keep on going.
Yes. Two, all those things that don't get done, that's a clue of what didn't need to happen in your life. Yeah. So congratulations. You could just take that off your shoulders. If you didn't do it, it didn't happen. It wasn't supposed to, or else it would have. So a lot of that to-do list is just what we think needs to get done. Some of it we really do need to do.
Sure, eventually, but it's on that important spectrum.
So you've got the to-do list. It's ongoing, just a sign that you're still living and alive. It also shows that these are the things, your options in life. You're going to do all the things that you're going to need to do. And the fact that we can recognize that all this stuff is going to happen. You're going to have to replace your tires. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to get a new roof or find a new home or whatever that's going to happen. These things they're going to happen.
Absolutely.
And there was a point where I hit that I realized, no, this is all just going to happen. No matter how I feel about it, no matter what I think about it, no matter what I prefer, it's all going to happen. So I stopped putting my effort on making it all go the way that I wanted to. And I started focus on fortifying the one who's going to go through it all. So if life's going to happen, we don't know when, how, or what it's going to look like. It's going to come throwing itself at our face day in and day out. The only place that I have any control, that I can do anything about, is this one right here. And since I can't control what's happening out here, I stopped making it my mission to make it all line up perfectly. And I started to look at how can I keep things lined up within me so that no matter what throws my way, what gets done or doesn't get done, what gets presented or not presented, I can stay unshakable or have my footing or at least breathe because for a long time, I had a real struggle with breathing. It was very hard for me to breathe. And I felt that I didn't even know how to come up for air. I didn't know where to get air from.
Wow.
And eventually I realized it's an inside job. If I want more space in my life, if I want more time in my life, if I want more grace in my life, if I want more breathing in my life, I have to be the one to make it happen. And I started to realize that I actually hold the power for how much time I have in a day. Not a clock, me. How much space I have, how much time I have, how much patience I have. It's an inside job. And I don't hit the mark all the time. I've just become aware of this. So it's something I'm constantly reaching for and course correcting back to. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm finding in my moment I can't breathe and I'm like, I just need some space, I need some time, I take it. I step into my pantry, I close the closet door, and I stand in there and I say, I give everybody else my time all day long. I give my daughter my time, my husband my time, my clients my time, strangers on the street my time, traffic lights my time. I give everything my time. I am allowed to take my time too.
Absolutely.
And that was a profound realization and a very empowering one to say, no, I deserve 3 minutes of silence in this closet until I can step back out again and be the person that I'm committed to being for my own experience of myself in my life, not for you people, but for myself. And in the end, you people benefit because I'm having a better experience of me. You're going to have a better experience of me. And it's just that ripple effect out versus I'm overwhelmed. I don't have any space. And now I'm mad at all of you for taking all my time. And now I'm just adding more angst and more frustration out here. Yes. But more importantly, what is happening in here? I am going through all of it within myself. So learning how to breathe, learning how to bring that mindfulness to the next level, start to bring in meditation, which seems like this other crazy elusive concept that you got to sit on a mountaintop like this for 16 hours. And if you can't do it, then you're failing. No, meditation is just taking that time to contemplate, to reflect. I do a lot of contemplative meditation while I'm doing dishes, while I'm driving down the road. I reflect over things until I find the zen, until I find the peace, until I get back connected to my power in the situation. So that mindfulness can lead to you creating more space, creating more time. And if you want more time, give it to yourself. You deserve to drive from point A to point B without looking at your phone, without getting a phone call, without having to see who's texting you or checking an email. You deserve to have that space. And if you're not doing it for yourself, this is what brings us all the way back to work-life balance. If you're not creating that balance within yourself, you're not going to have a balanced experience out here, ever. Until it all started to fall into place and sync up and settle within me. That is when I could start to sync up and settle my life around me. And it's an ongoing process. But once you start to learn the rhythm of it, once you find your own autonomy, first and foremost, so that you can allow life to happen without it impacting you in such a profound way or taking away your ability to choose how you're going to respond or engage with it, that autonomy leads you to that place of finding that equanimity where you can find your flow, not line up everything perfectly so that life can work the way you think it should. But how do you flow amongst the unexpected, amongst the unknown, and really maintain your own footing in the process? And to me, just even talking about it, I feel more calm. And that's what I strive for in my life. And as I started to see it profoundly affect my life, I had to bring it over to my clients. I had to say, okay, it was great when we were talking strategy and technique. It's even more effective when we do it from the inside out. And these are the conversations that I have with people so that you can stop trying to force yourself in a model that worked for someone else, because that schedule worked great for Susan. That's why she